forced vacation by the nanny state. I must admit, though, it's cut down on my ice cream consumption. Like last night, I went out daringly just before the curfew, before the sirens. I was able to score for half off store price. Of course, they mark up. It's a game they play. They mark it up, then they mark it down. It's like what manipulating the market there on ice cream. So I had to go out there and sneak back and I kind of eat it early. I want to eat it late at night, so I go into my coma-induced, diabetic coma. So people are going to be a little bit healthier. It's kind of funny. The side effect apparently is people are not out getting drunk. I think they outlawed. I don't really drink liquor, so I would know. But apparently you can't go buy liquor. You can't go to the bar. You can't fraternize. Wow. There are probably going to be a bunch of people claiming, "Oh, I feel so much better." Yes, it's like being in jail. When you get out, you feel good. So I think they're going to let everybody out of jail at the end of the month, but I think people are going to start to just kind of maybe just fuck it and go outside. So it's just, it's 5 o'clock. It just turned 5 p.m. So we were able to make, we were at $4,500 here, so we're actually up from our lows from the drawdown. We're up to $700. So we could have gone long here, could have taken the risk and made a directional trade out of this. But just to stay kosher, I kept these all, and I'm still not out of my big giant 150 pip winners. Right, I almost nailed it. Here's the 150 pip winners. So we took off the 64 pip winners. Now, if I had a nice smooth exit, I have a cluster here, and if I wanted to stretch this out, I could move it. So a lot of times I'll think, instead of buying another position, I'm just going to move my targets up to the next notch here. I'm going to go out on a big limb here, and I'm going to assume if we go up, we could make it up somewhere in this big box. It's about a 20 pip box, isn't it? Let's see. It should tell me as I drag it. Okay, so that's a 20 pip box. This is 24 pip box. Here's 30 pips. Right? So I could put limits up there, and we could capture a scalp coming back off the top. Why is it coming down now? Is because we triggered the high of the week. Once you take out the high of the week, you know there's sellers there. Maybe it's only a scalp to here, and it will keep going up, but that's all right. Now I could go flat here, but I wouldn't, because since I'm trading breakout only, I'd have to put another breakout in there. So this is the whole thing. If you're in, which I'm in about 100K right now, spread out over these tickets, that if I was to go flat, take it all off, I kind of want to get back in. So I'm going to have to pick a limit that's like, okay, I got to walk it all the way back down. I mean, this is the truth of it, is that if you're going to go in really big, you have $1 million account. Now, this is the recommendation by, don't forget, Empowered Trading. After you spent 35 grand on their course or 6 grand on their Gartley bullshit, then you're going to have to figure out how you're going to risk 2% of $1 million, because they're telling you right off the bat, dude, don't even try to start with $1,000. You're just not that good. Like, no, you're going to need a fucking Marshall stack, 40 switches, the fucking, what's the latest? I don't know, my buddy's got one. It's like a 8-space rack guitar modeling thing. And don't forget the MIDI, the Synthax, right? On and on, the double neck guitar, the fretless double neck Frusinski guitar. So, come on, where do you draw the line? So, to really maximize the account, I would say, yeah, you got 1Ks, you're trading 200K a day. I mean, that's good, safe money, because you're spreading your risks. So, I mean, even in this stupid breakout system, I mean, I'm treading water. I'm still up. I'm actually the same I was at before. And yeah, we could have put in buy stops only and a couple buy at the markets. Sure. So I discussed that. It's like a breakfast blend trade where you're gonna buy this pullback because it's down. I mean, it's obvious shit. What makes it impossible for somebody like No Nonsense is you can't conceive of having like 8.5 girlfriends. So it's like, it's just not right that you're buying there, you bought there. You don't buy any more at the market. You only buy when it's down at the market. If you're a trend trader, and for some harebrained reason, it may be that you just got some bullshit Ikamushu cloud with the standard settings. It's not the Bob Booker one where he doubled all the settings. What? These guys are fucking. Who do they think they're fooling? Well, what we did is we went from a 34 period moving average to a 68. And the chorus is about half off. It's half off. It's a better signal. It's better because it's a longer baseline. What does this? Who is not looking at that and going, wait a minute. If I make a 5 period moving average, I back tested that, and then I back tested a 10. They both made money, kinda, until one lost money. Yeah, because the market went fucking nuts, and the 10 period moving average is never going to see the market again for the next 48 hours. And, but honestly, to just sit there and tell people, well, here's a car, here's your steering wheel. Now, you're going to need to buy about 3 cars because you're going to, what? I mean, no, it's not like that. It's like you want to buy a bus, and so it's just one of these things, I just can't take it, So that's why I made all those videos, and people kept saying, why are you making fun of all these guys? And because it's retarded advice. You're not helping anybody. And if you're supposedly free and all that, and it's like, so anyways, I guess Ryan Brown's got a robot that makes money. That's free. I don't think you can see that. I guess you can decompile that. I saw somebody showing how to decompile stuff, so everything's. But do you feel safe driving? Do you feel safe having a robot drive your car? Not really. Smart cars really aren't getting it for me. The self-driving car that runs over like a coronavirus, listen, coronavirus matters too. When are the bleeding hearts going to come out of the woodwork and say, it's just not right? The coronavirus is like, and even the Jesus freaks, it's one of God's creatures. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Don't you wonder? So I wonder that when I see people doing the trading thing, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a move. I got this beautiful, gorgeous, look at this thing. It's right textbook. What's the juiciest trade on here? We're talking about dead people today. They're still kind of juicy. But this screaming bonsai move, why is so screaming? Because it's filling a hole. The fucking abyss. The looming vacuum. The looming abyss. Market's always doing that shit. God, stop it with the fuck. Well, I got this indicator. So we got a doji right now. And I mean, if I was going to maximize this and go, I'm up, if this is real money, I'd be up 400. Let's go flat. And I throw in limits. Okay, so I'm going to change modes based on the phases that the market's in. So the takeaway from Wyckoff isn't to fucking get the exact, you jumped the creek here. Dude, it's phases. It's going to go consolidate, and it's going to fucking run like a whore. As it consolidates, it's creating a vacuum above, a vacuum below. It's going to cave up or it's going to cave down in. It's as simple as that. Now, since Forex has no fucking limits, see, the thing is, the stock market, they turn that shit off, like the economy, see? If it's crashing too hard, they go, limit down, turn it off. 2 hours, let the orders catch up, because they don't want to be accused of slippage. I love how these people want it. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. That's why I get pissed when people are like, well, you get slippage, and those you're trading for peanuts. Dude, there's no fucking way around it. If you go in big on one fucking idea, look at what the fuck. You just have I own restaurants. Well, that sounds like a good. Are you diversified? Fuck no. I own the biggest, fanciest sit down. Actually, we sit on each other's laps. It's called the Lap Dance Restaurant. I think they closed the titty bar. So as long as it's one-on-one, right? As long as you take a test. People, what the fuck happened to you? So yeah, all these fucking goobers, and then the projections go from 2 million. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm thinking about 30,000 dead Americans, just like a normal fucking flu season. Who couldn't see this shit coming? What scared me wasn't the virus. It was the fact that I went outside and it's like, what? The store's not open? I can't just go to Walmart at 2 a.m. when no goobers are. The whole point of Walmart is going there when there's no goobers. At 3 a.m. going, huh, look at this TV set. Staring at TV sets for 2 fucking hours. Going, yeah, I like the Samsung. Good curved screen. The inverted curved screen. I do think this thing's destined to go up some more. And if I was a market trader, since it just turned 5 o'clock, you just got to pull the trigger. It's just a religion. You don't bet fucking 2% of your account right now on that one fucking idea. Are you nuts? You trade the whole fucking thing. If you can't afford 100 pips stop, this is a 400. You see 400 pips here on the screen. The chart contains a 400 pip range. So as you zoom out, it starts to give you this beautiful, like, there's 600 pips. There's 1,000 pips. Okay? Each black thing's 100 pips. Right? $100 on a 10K. $10 on a 1K. Now, it's better than lottery tickets. So if you told somebody, well, if you sold every fucking move up here, who could afford to risk $200? Let's go through the trades here, risking $200. It should be obvious. After watching people react to this corona, I guess I get it. By the way, I'm offering classes on how to wash your hands for 34 seconds. Fibonacci hand washing. So if you like and subscribe, I will send you a free video on how to wash your hands. You got to count 1,000, 1,000. They've got commercials on TV. I guess, what do we... Really? At least lick your hands clean. Fucking A. I mean, can't you just... How about just rub them on something? Like the palm on your thighs. Just rub... You'd be like, what the fuck happened? But yeah, the whole thing with like I swear it's like you let the Americans. Every American was handed a Forex account, and they blew it up. They fucking just. And then here come Frank Dodd going, hey, you just can't be trusted with your own fucking hands. I don't know. It's mind-boggling. So there's the trades I put on. I just kept pulling the trigger and loading this thing up. That's what I did. I got anxious about, I got to hurry up, get to this store again tonight, get more supplies. It's just fucking, I mean, I don't mind going at 3 a.m., but really you shut it all fucking down for a goober attack? Here's the 4-hour entries I marked off. See how it contradicts, though? At the end of 4 hours, you're actually up here. This is why the time frame overlays are another mind bender, because it goes against your trade plan. You can't build an algorithm for every time frame, and because it's going to be like, well, at the end of 4 hours, we're here. Yeah, but it's slightly down from here, so it's a buy. And this is slightly down from here, so it's a buy. And this is slightly down here, it's a buy. It's like, that's more than 8 hours. But that's the only time it actually gets back down again. Here, it's slightly down. But look at that beautiful double bottom. Well, there's no such thing as double bottoms. I know, but there's actually a quadruple bottom, right? Everything below the wick. I don't know why people are trying to get so precise. I guess it's just human nature. So I loaded up here like crazy. See all the button pressing I did? So this is about 3 in the morning. Here comes about 6 in the morning. Here the jobs report's about to come out, right? Do I have to know where the market's going? No. I made money. Now, I could have made a lot more if I picked the direction. I could have made a lot more if I didn't have so many scalps in here. Had I put in 50 pips stops, I'd be up about 300. I'd be up $400 right now. I know that. I know, because I'd be like, dude, you can survive like this is. Look how many pips this is. It's all about how many pips. But since I'm in like 200K for a moment here, I know I'm in 250K I cashed out of. I must have. Because I made $300 digging out of a hole. I was at 4,500. And the reason I was at 4,500 because of all this chop, and this is what stopped out the scalps, right? And the spread probably shitty in there. This is Asian breakout trap, and then it doesn't really break out until it gets to right here, the threshold. This is the trap trade. So if you're keen how to trade that, it's like an order block. Yeah, you're going to buy this. And maybe you couldn't get that because the spread was too wide, but it's okay. If you just keep buying here at this price, whatever that price is, or just keep pulling the trigger every time it's down in the hour. So on the hourly chart, if you buy at the market and sell at the market on the hourly chart, you can see your trades here, right? Buy, buy, buy. There's a 3K. Buy, buy, buy. 6K long. Gets above the vacuum. It's up 2 hours in a row, dump. Go flat. Put limits in here tonight. I'm not going to do that on this account. I'm just letting it go to prove a point. And also looking at it now, if we're up to 5,500, I could just go flat. But then if I'm going to seriously stick to this style of trading, this technique, it's not going to work because I got to wait for the thing to quiet down to build another hedge here and then repay the spread and possibly get stop on it. Am I going to put in stops? Not, the way to really do it is to risk more. It's counterintuitive. So if you put in a buy stop here with a protection stop here and a target way the fuck up there, every time they fill you, you're taking on this much risk, but there's less chance of getting stopped out and having to repay the spread and the shitty fill on a buy stop if you're going long. So you could bite the bullet. You could build a position here at the market. I'm going to buy. There's 1, 2, 3 buys, 4, 5, 6. And if you're a candlestick trader, you're going to only buy bearish bars. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15K. You should have built 15K on the hourly chart at the market. Very simple system. It's down, you buy. Buy low, sell high. I know it seems unbelievable. It really does. But when you zoom out, so if those are your entries, and you're just going to have to imagine them there, because now I'm going to go to the 4-hour chart. And all of a sudden, the trading's going to get, we're never going to get a 15K going, right? We would have to buy 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 entries. Well, 5. Well, 6, I guess, right? So a 6K, you could have got started from here if you literally bought every down bar. So you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7K. Whereas on the hourly chart, if you religiously even if you kept selling, if you have a tight stop, say your stop's here, you probably made something, I hope. So here's the other problem, is that what if, everything you do load in this wagon here is a kind of a wide stop. Your stop goes from here to here to here. You have like 3 levels, or hopefully it's like a spectrum, a nice unrepeating spectrum. And that would involve either writing that exact script, because when you go double click these all at once and walk and go watch your favorite TV show, that's what I do. I just double click all this shit and maybe wait in a half hour, double click all this shit again. It seems pulling back now. So when it comes back to here and goes sideways, yeah, if I see that situation, if it gets quiet, it's getting quiet, I'm going to start hitting that button again. And do I put in the 16 pip stop and the 20? Ideally, what you would do is, I'm thinking like either 5 or 2 pips apart. It's easy to do the math. You can be 18 pip, 20, 22. It's a lot of work. But if you know that you're hitting the 13 to make 28, and you come here, you build a 228K. It's trading's, I guess, artwork. It's a task. But if you break it down, what else you doing? What else you got to do? You can't go out of the store anymore. So if you're not used to, but if I wasn't going to taint this account with another technique right now, I can see right now I would be running buy limits for the next 15 minutes, 1 pip apart, 20 pips deep, because the market can't hardly move at this time of night. And I would keep on trolling with a 1-hour script that's buying 1 pip apart for an hour, 30K deep. So that'd be 30 pips down, with a 40 pip stop. Now, I don't know if it's going to fill the whole thing, but you can make plenty of money when the market, if you think that's peanutsy, then just lay a 40K 2 pips apart for 4 hours, and all of a sudden, when this thing crushes down and you can absorb that, you can go underwater $500, then you're going to make 1,500. But if you can't handle that punishment, okay, you're going to tighten your stop. Now they're just going to take you out, and you can't swing and scalp at the same time. So if you're going to have scalps embedded into your swings, you can pay for that big ride that you envision, and that's Gartley pattern shit. Oh, it's going to get in here, and then, I mean, in power trading, literally doesn't even get in. They don't trade from where you're at, which this breakout system lets you trade from anywhere you are in the world. Because when you get to Asian session, right now we got a nice doji forming. So I could come in like this and go, you know what? Okay, 12 hours. I'm going to put another ticket in here. This is completely acceptable. This is the only choice I have now. So there, I just put another trade on, and I can go like this. That's going to be a 6K. There's 2 on each one. So I just put a 6K and I just bracketed it, and kind of far away. This one's about 3 pips away. This one's about 8 pips away. I just let it go. And be like, okay, that's... so the incrementalness of it makes it not risky, and also doesn't make it like this all or nothing, like I got to be right on this one trade. Now, I know the feeling of wanting to be right on the whole trade and go, you know what, can I just get in one ticket and just do a money management trail my stop on one ticket? Yeah, most people would take off half the position. I mean, even the most that person right now, actually, if the market pulls back, they're going to fill me on the sell side. So it's as if I'm kind of taking profits. Every time you step in, which is the most simple idea, say you would start off in the crudest method and you trade the market. If it's down for 1 hour, I buy. If it's up for 1 hour, I sell. If it's down big in 1 hour, I buy with a wide stop. If it's up 1 hour, big, relatively speaking, I'm going to sell with a wide stop. If you play that type of game, you'll come to find that, oh, well, this is... of course, if you're attached to the sell because you're not just selling because it's up, because you have a bigger picture in mind, this Gartley or this giant, like I looked at the monthly charts, I do a top-down analysis. Yeah, but dude, you don't live on a 5-year chart. You live, if you're scalping, you live for the next hour. You're like, hope this thing makes money. And you're like, yeah, this is just dripping down. I guess the worst thing is if you're expecting it to slam down and it's just dripping down, it's just kind of drifting down. That's always like, come on, man. Can we just, if you're going to go sell off, I want to go long, so could we just, get that, we could just hurry up. And I guess that's where the impatience comes in. So are we there yet? So I know that's the other consideration. But you're just going to have to feel comfortable with what other technique or style you're trading. And I think that if you do that, you're probably better off. I know people that can play guitar like Jimi Hendrix verbatim, but you literally can't have a musical conversation with you because they cannot just play. I know people that can play concert piano, but I don't think they could just sit down and like hack out a jam and say, oh, you play that, I'll play this. We'll just write something right on the spot. Because they need the guidance. They're kind of counting on that foundation. I guess that's the no-nonsense crowd, tell me, please give me a guidebook, and I want to go to college and learn how to trade. Yeah, I got it, but you know what a bearish candle and a bullish candle is. You know what a hanging man is. You know what a doji is, and of course it's more complicated than it looks because it's as if the market opened and then 4 hours later it closed and it has not changed. But my God, you could have a wick on there that's 500 pips. I mean, we've seen this after the news. The market goes berserk in both directions and the finish is unchanged. And people are like, well, I don't get it. Yeah, because the market just digested every available price. It literally just gobbled up both vacuums, because once it went to one vacuum, unless it's going to keep drifting and slamming into that till the end of the session, you could either totally retrace or it could keep slamming. It could literally go sideways for 9 hours and then just keep churning. But if you look left, you will notice it's going into uncharted land. So looking left does matter. But what do you do about it? So you're already in that phase of the market screaming into a certain price. Well, do you have a trade plan that you can jump on that train. I think on the 15, yeah, if it's a fast market, every 15 minutes it's down, you're buying. I mean, you got to be able to hop on that 15-minute train, though. And I don't think no nonsense people want to do that much work. So they want to look at the daily and go, oh, yeah, there's a daily chart. Okay. And they'll probably get on this long train if it keeps going up. And then they'll be like, oh, it's a fuck you bar. They call it a fuck you bar. Yeah, that'd be just a bar that went against you. You should have already made your money. By the first 4 hours, hopefully, you could have scalped something and paid for the ride, because sometimes the market will not only pull back, but it'll blow out the lows and people are like, what the fuck happened? I think it's just because there's order imbalances that don't seem apparent at the time, because if you are on the 15-minute chart, you're typically not that zoomed out. So maybe you forgot what's on the left side of the chart there, all these looming vacuums. So I know that the no nonsense or the the guy Pike. Let's see, my mouse is turning on me here. Yeah, the guy named Pike that I named Pike. Okay. Here, let me clear this shit off. He's got so many indicators on his screen, but he's used to that background bullshit. To me, everything on here is written for a reason. I do think that the limits combined with breakout, combined with market trading, is the best kind of situation. So if I had limits in, I would put them, say, for the next 12 hours. It's going to be like this. We're going to have like a box like that. Oh, so I know it's going to be just 3 bars. 3 bars on the 4 hours, 12 hours. Right? No, it's, 3. I'm thinking 16. There's no 16. But, I mean, 16 hours. This is a 12-hour ride here. So if your sell limits were in the box above this Williams fractal, and they lasted for 12 hours, you would have filled that whole bank. But if you dropped a sell limit, here, let me delete these objects. If you put in a crop of sell limits above here, and they lasted for 8 hours, 2 bars, and you dropped them right here on this first screaming bar, you would have captured this and not filled the whole rack. So that's the trick, is the Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold. We know there's sellers up here galore, so we place our next bank here. And so a real tall rack like this probably is not fillable unless we could just go screaming up. But if you extend it to here and give it like 12 hours or a whole day, if you put overlapping dailies, so you have also embedded in here, inside this you have scalps. It's like planting a garden, I suppose. It's like it's diversification. I think liberals should love this trade plan. It's very diversified. Right? You got slutty trades with wide stops. You got very tight stops just for the cheap seats. They kick you out of the seat. Your stop was too tight. If imagine a weekly order, so it lasts way out into the future, and if you want to think about next week, do you think the market could ever make it back down here? You would just put the orders in right now. In fact, you could just put them in for, I don't know what the news is tomorrow. I think it's going into the holidays. Who's not buying below here? Right. And you can martingale in, so you'd buy more down here. I don't think we're making it there tonight, but if you want to claim this is a double top becoming a bottom, I wouldn't choose an exact price. I'd choose everything from this wick to this top. You just got to think ranges, and you'll get into something. And then it also kind of erases the fear of missing out. So very aggressively right now, I'm putting in 4-hour buy limits here with real money. Now in this account, I think I see that I should have really just gone flat here, but I don't think I'm actually in a big enough position. But right there, we knew there were sellers. Anytime you see a high, and how many times have we seen these kind of really deep highs? We know there's sellers galore there, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll be cashing out on those. Just kind of letting it float here. But it's dead in the water. This is Asia. Tomorrow's Friday. It's over. The week's done. Every time you zoom out, you're like, oh, I see how that works. Yeah. See, now, here is your other entry you missed. If there's very shallow buy limits here. Beautiful retest. Trend lines. Another thing. Why doesn't No Nonsense understand how trend lines work? We draw a trend line off of this top. Also, this is the price pause projections that I got from Andrew Cardwell. So we copy this line. So we find the lowest close within this line, right? See how it just nails that beautifully? That's because it's a momentum price pause. And so it's kind of like a Gartley thing. But I'm not waiting for this to buy, dude. That's my projection. And trust and believe, I'm getting out here. Because here's the trap, right, for the wick. Trap, and rally. Nick this wick, pull it back up. So this trend line, if I extend it to the right, we're going to get this situation where also, if you keep redrawing trend lines on close only, because I think that's a better, it's an earlier entry. If you put your trend lines like this, because you put them on the wicks, you're really kind of missing the timing of the market. So if you're looking at the break here, if I put it on the wicks, it wouldn't break till way out there. You begin late. Plus you can't. Plus it's obvious where to draw them. It's very clear. And I was going to do a. So this trend line here, and this thing really picks up speed. Here's another price pause projection. See this piece? Add it to this, the lowest close within that price pause. And here's the last price pause. So we don't really able to get this one because this thing's just really picking up steam. That's very steep. We add it to the lowest close. It's not making projections. It's diverging. Even my closing indicator at the bottom here is diverging too. So we get divergence here. A little bit dead cat bounce. Also seeing the same kind of reversals you see in a Cardwell thing. See how this is more overbought inside each candle at a lower price, right? So this is higher at a lower price. This one is higher. And not really. It's actually how much it moved. Here's one reversal. Doesn't really pay out too well. And then you get this. Not really divergence, but I'm looking at this more as a dead in the water prices here, and not even divergence on this one when it goes smashing up to here. So I don't really look at divergence as much as I look at the structure of price. Also, this simple things like trend line on price. I don't want to look down typically. I just put that for people that like indicators. I don't look at that stuff. I'm kind of looking at this thing going, okay, I can see right here. This is 100 pips from here to here. But some people like to see indicators. To me, it just takes up too much screen. So if I am running these and I want to delete them, I just take them down to nothing. So that to me is more. Plus, I want to be able to see the spread here. Right now, it's terrible. It's 60. We're waiting for it's 5:30 at night. It's untradeable from a breakout standpoint. So I just I got a buy stop pending here. I just got filled on my sell though. So I'm kind of protecting my profits in a kind of a sloppy way. I'm not crazy about it. That's another thing. Do you want to just cash out, go flat, come back in, rinse, repeat, or do you want to ride some glorious trend that you perceive? These are all considerations because you may make money doing it another way, but it doesn't feel good. So that's good. I mean, people got, there's people that spend a lot of money to feel comfortable, and they're still not comfortable. So I asked this guy, I went to a drive-through, and I said, he goes, I said, yeah, can I get a side of Corona with that? And I think he's afraid to laugh. God, you're laughing at Corona jokes. Report your neighbor. This guy in L.A. God, what the guy running out in Los Angeles? What the fuck happened to him? I am the Corona police. I saw you laughing. I know. We were laughing at you. We're laughing at all the snowflakes. I think the old people are like, bring it. I'm out of here. Snowflakes. I have a friend that's kind of a snowflake. Well, my parents, I'm like, dude, come on. Your parents would be fine. All right, whatever. You're so rich. Yeah, this thing's pulling back. So I like the catch a falling knife stuff, honestly. That's another psychological thing. I like the feeling of them coming into my limits. I'm like, oh, come on. Come on, Corona. I call this Corona pullback. Corona. Dude, this is the most common fucking flu on the planet. It's nouveau. New to you. You just fucking woke up, you snowflake. It's nouveau Corona. Oh, nouveau Corona. Is that like that wine that's not quite ripe? Yeah, nouveau wine. It's just not. It's aged like 5 minutes. This is a sampler. That's all right. Let's drink it. I'm ready to get hammered. I'm ready to bring my immune system down after all this fucking bullshit. Can't go here, can't go there. Oh, you want to go? No, can't do that either. What about no? Like, don't even ask. If you ask, actually, it's going to make you, we're going to detain you and we're going to quarantine you. Yeah, quarantine you for being an asshole. No, because I'll be there for how long? 18 months. Until we get a vaccine for people that have to listen to your fucking rants. Yeah, sorry, guys. But yeah, this is the drudgery of the market. Let's take a peek at the S&P. Did it go up? I'm not an S&P trader, but it's screaming up. But yeah, it looks like it's kind of crapping out. I don't know if we can make this window, but I would definitely take something off the table. In fact, this is almost like that non-Fibonacci retrace. I think I'm looking at like 50% here. That's like one of those anti-Gartley patterns. Good old 50% anti-fib. But yeah, there should be people bailing here. We can scooch up into here, and then it's just going to be chop, and things are going to have to calm down. It really are. I got buy limits below here though. Buy limits below here. Of course, these will last all month, and these will last all week. Next week there'll be buyers here. There'll be buyers there. I mean, buyers that are going to make money. That's a nice deep discount. I'd totally scalp off of this thing if I was a stock trader. Another thing with if you're trading stocks, then you really can't trade breakouts on the daily. You can't put a pending in. You have to become a limit trader if you trade on stocks. Yeah, you got to be like your own little market maker. Market makers supposedly the ones that are stop hunting you, so you would just put in limits, trailing buy limits if you're a stock trader. So it could also blow through your limit. You could get slippage on that. But if you put in more than one ticket, that's the whole trick. You put in at least 3 tickets, and then you can pick and choose. Hey, that one's she's kind of about ready to die from corona. The other one's got a few hours on the ventilator, and supposedly we're hearing all this stuff about the ventilator will kill you. Yeah, you know what? What makes you think you know how to fucking save somebody's life? These overcompensating. Well, it looks like you're really sick. Nobody's ever put on a ventilator, and different brands of ventilators. They're all for $50,000 a ventilator. They're all different, aren't they? Joe's got a $20 one. He just put days on. He's got the ventilator all cranked up. Come on, Jimmy Bob, get on the ventilator. Oh my God, I still haven't seen an interview with any of these patients going, my God, leave me alone. I got a cold. Stop writing me up as a fucking victim. Oh, I wish I had the Corona so I could report from my hospital bed. Log on. Market update with Corona. See, here's another failed algo. Look at this. No nonsense. She's got 3 secret algos. I like when he brags. Well, I spent so much time on this. You think I'm going to give this up for free? I'm like, what, are you kidding me? What the fuck do you hear that shit? What are you watching, old fucking Western movies? Are you getting lines right out of the cheesiest, most cliche fucking trite ass fucking movies? He's got those still got the still shots of these fucking people staring into space and yeah, oh my god, please. Here's a sell into the moving average. Does it make much money? Not really. But I'm following my system. I don't think you should be blind to the structure though. Here's the trailing buy limit. So imagine this is a stock. This is AT&T or some bullshit. And you just do a cancel replace with a buy limit. And then they pick you up and they pick you up. You're getting the best price. Here they pick you up and up. And here's where you're like, wait a minute. I can't handle the heat. I'm getting overfilled. And this is what makes all the money is that if you're thinking, oh man, I'm in too big, then you should have got in smaller on each increment. So when you got to here, you were like, holy shit, but you're above your baseline. This is a 4-hour S&P. This is the baseline. I guess this is what they're talking about. Only trade if you're above it. And ideally, this is the ultimate entry is you buy, pull back to this. But if that rule is the same, that's why you have to sell here. But maybe this volatility isn't worth, right? If the other filter is more oversold, like a violent pullback to this. Yeah, that's a better one because, well, here you would have bought here, then you would have got stopped out, right? That's the fail. Right? We all see the fail. We all see how, well, this overshot and it's above my baseline. I'm confused. What do I do? And there's not enough volume. And, oh gosh, the prime minister has the flu again. And the spike up into here was golden for that last short. And then we got this. And now it's just like, wow, this is like a big giant pivot zone. This hole was forming also. I ran out of sellers. So this was the last week's trade plan was to buy everything below this. Cash out to that. So the scalp is like this. And then you're going to hold through the engulf, possibly. And this double top becomes a bottom, becomes a double bottom. And it looks like buy limits here makes sense on the 4-hour. And that was the big stop hunt. You could have had trailing buy limits here. 4-hour chart, a lot of work. Daily chart, less work. So when you go to the daily, though, there's no trades, amazingly. So this balance between, okay, if you go to the 1-hour chart with my algo, there's going to be 10 trades. If I go to the and when I say algo, I mean just this literally trailing stop idea, theory. If you use that system, theory, technique, you're going to end up with X. And when you go to the daily, you're like, well, this thing hasn't even pulled. This would be the pullback here. So you would have went along here, and then they would have crushed you, right? So you could have filled here on a trailing buy limit, and then they just crushed you. And this is a lot of money because the daily chart, these are big moves. A lot of money if you choose the same size position. And here's the one where you're like, holy shit. Now, it's not even a Williams fractal. It's just a lonely wick. And then they crush down in there. And on the timeline, this top is becoming a bottom. And the trend line, this trend line's about to break. This one already broke. So if you're a trend line trader, you draw a trend line in there and you're like, oh man, I'm anticipating the break. So if you're a channel trader, you'd be buying the bottom of that channel. If you're a divergence trader, you'd be buying down there. Why would you be buying there? If you go to the weekly chart, you see this lonely wick, and anybody that bought below there is laughing all the way to the bank, and they should be. And they're probably cashing out right into the floor here, right? We're coming out to the exit right now. And then we'd expect maybe we come down here, come down there. Oh, maybe it does go lower. Maybe it is a bear market. But when you go to the monthly, you're like, well, I don't no, not so fast, Okay, so if it's the beginning of a bear market, we've got to retrace to here, and we've got to start just waddling around, and so is this a bear market? Yeah, I mean this. If you would have sold here and you would have sold here, if you would have sold this, you're kind of counter trend trading, I suppose. But look at these sells, bam, bam. But notice the same situation. It's that lonely wick right here, right there. When they nick that, then they rape it. Then they nick this one and engulf it. Rapes like in golf, right? If you're bigger than her. This is the lonely wick, so that they tag it and they bag it. And here, these are perfect entries if you're going to buy into the moving average on just the wicks. Here is it closed below. And that's what people go, I back tested the 50 moving average. It was much better. Much better entries. Of course, I couldn't trade any of this shit because it never got near the moving average. So you just can't have, there's no such thing as a no side effect. So the no-nonsense guy is telling people, you just got to go get a bunch of indicators. He's like, I just can't wait to spend the whole summer testing indicators. Okay, indicator porn, I guess, right? But, I mean, why not just trade the market? Why sit there and play fantasy games? I mean, that's like demo trading right there. So many fucking indicators. Same thing here in the DAX. Anybody that bought below that is up now. Now that's a lot of heat to take, but you buy here, you buy more here, and you buy Morris right here. 4-year lows hit. You really think it's going to keep breaking out? Why not? It did here when it took out this low, which is a very important low. All these three lows are very important. It did pick up some steam there. That's the monthly DAX. German 30 compared to the Dow 30. Look at this thing come screaming back on the weekly. It looks like everything, to me, what it reminds me of is wide spreads, illiquidity, wide spreads. Everything's bid down. Everything's bid down. Bitcoin, you name it. Palladium's all down. Nothing's up. Very strange, but that's a phenomenon. I think of volatility creates wide spreads. Now they tighten back up and you get a different looking market. This is the Australia versus New Zealand. Look at this beast. Look at this wacky shit. I don't even care if you're a trend trader. The counter trend traders, if you think this is an uptrend, look at the counter trend trade here. Sell here, and it comes back and it tags this wick and then rips. That's why it ripped back. Look when it takes this out. This is like the Dow Jones tanking recently. Huge buying here. Rips all the way back to this node. Then down deeper. People are like, holy shit, this is a 2004 low. 15-year low. Man, look at the interest in that price. Rips all the way to take out the high of the year. This is a vicious range trade beast. You could make the argument for this whole year we were in a downtrend. If you call that a trend, I call that just blistering move. Is this a trend then? This is about a half a year. Look at these moves. Look at this right in the middle of the year. Boom. Is this ranging? What do you think? What are the chances this is 90% ranging? One trend out of this whole market. One nice trend. I'm not going to call this a trend because you could have counter trend traded that. You could have trend traded that. And everybody's making money on that. That's a monthly chart. So I don't know what these people are talking about. I think they're just dreaming. They're dreaming into the chart. Look at that. If I had a moving average like that moving average system, look at this trend here. And your stop would be where again? Stop? What are we talking about? Oh, isn't that cute? You don't use stops. What do you got, like $1 million in the account? You're trading a 1K. You probably ain't trading a 1K and get clobbered here. Here, let me put up my pip grid. I'm missing the How many pips that is? Okay. Look at this thing. Wow. 100 pip grid. Some monster moves, man. Wow. So, look how dead the water this euro is. The volatility's really dried up. This could go either way. How about oil? Looks like oil was going to make a wrap today. Yeah, so I'd be selling oil on these rooftops here. I'm not oil, whatever this is. S&P 500. No, sorry, Dow Jones. Right there, I'm getting out. We've made it all the way back to the structure here, too. Never got filled on these limits down here, though. Here was the touch into this window, and then see how the scalpers made money. This is the daily. If you zoom in, if you got your sell limits sitting up on this ledge, right on the top of that closing price, the next day they pull it all the way back below that entry. So you actually have a winning. All those tickets won, right? Because your worst fill is up here, and we actually go deeper the next time, right there. And then the buyers come in there, right? Because this is like the stop hunt. And the market order guys, we see a small move back, we get in with a tight stop. Small pullback, right? The trade plan's obvious. Small pullback, buy with a tight stop. Big pullback, buy with a wide stop. Because the first buy, this is not a big pullback, but this is. So you put a stop here just in case. Trade a little wider stop. Like if you bought this to survive this pullback, and that's not a big pullback, but kind of drifty now. Now it's about putting buy limits in here and just the rinse and repeat. Sell limits start above that. A lot of people are going to bail here, but there'll be a lot of people cashing out here. This is probably when people will just be going back to work. They're like, fuck you. Fuck you, nanny state. You know, this forced internment camps. Stay in your building. Do not even think about hedging. If you think about hedging, we will edit your brain. Sellers came in here on the top there. So I have buy limits here now. Crude oil bouncing off at 30. It's getting kind of tame though. Volatility's drying up. We can trade heavier now. So that was a scalp on crude. What else? Boeing stabilizing. CAD yen still in the buy window. Here's another monster mover. Big pips. What else we got? Oh, the infamous guppy. Let me see how many pips this is. I know this thing will usually rip your face off. Amount of pips. Oh, not too bad. It's all calmed down. Look at that. Oh, yeah. I think that's a little trickery there on the numbers. Okay. Wow. Yeah, once everything got to here, notice this is the big climax move for stocks and everything. Everything dips into that window. It seems. So it seems. I mean, everything, even gold. Gold looks like it's reaching. See, gold did the same thing. All markets did the exact same thing. See this this wick here. Of course, this thing got really frisky, but I think I'm a big seller in gold if we take out the high here. So that looks like it's going to have a nice march north. But like I said, to me, it's about selling above that for the scalp coming back. If it ever takes out these highs, then it would just be, well, people are buying it because they believe that inflation is coming. And I think inflation is definitely coming for the sake of certain items. some things are going to be on sale. Looks like crude oil is going to still kind of be very depressed. We got to bail out those oil people. The bailouts. Jesus, if you wouldn't turn the shit off, we wouldn't have to bail people out. But when you engineer it's like the lawnmower with the kill switch, or the car. If you let go of the clutch or let go of the, you can't start the car unless the clutch is pushed in. Well, that's great if you're stranded on, and you're missing an arm. That's wonderful. Missing a leg. It's a great way to die. From too much safety. Okay, it's gonna. Okay, so we're waiting for the pullback there. I'm not making any money now. Like I said, if it gets in that box, I'll launch a few of these. But that's my story. The body count's dropping, and the nanny state. I'm gonna watch Trump talk. It's almost 6 o'clock. The spreads are tightening up. We have an awful spread of 8 pips here. This is gonna get in 5 minutes. This is gonna tighten up to about 3 pips. I'll put on some orders then.